Okay. According to OBS Studio, should be going live right about now. So first of all, welcome to the channel. And if anyone stops by, I truly appreciate it, but it is not necessary. Hang on one second. Today may not have been the right day to do this. I am coming down with something. However, I did intend to go live tonight. I had reached out to my second favorite North Carolina YouTuber and asked if he wanted to do a live on his channel. I think that was on Monday. And he said, I'll get in touch with you on Wednesday. I'm starting to take it personally, but oh well, things happen. Wow. All right. We're going to tough this out, or at least tough it out as much as we can. So what we're doing here is we're just going to go ahead and hit a few more of our comments. I'm doing 3 videos a week right now while I run out my AIM Expo videos. So there's some comments. And interestingly, I do have a very strong community for which I'm very grateful for old comments. Sorry, comments on old videos. Wow, this is bad. However, we do have quite a few comments on this week's video, which is Moto Ranting with Lemon. Lemon would be my 2020 790 Adventure R. Lemon has failed to start by killing a battery after 5,000 miles. Lemon had a wire go bad that took 10 weeks to solve at a KTM dealership. And now Lemon is slightly hard starting. About 16,000 miles. That's not unusual. It's probably just the valves that need to be done. And Lemon got dropped off this week to have those valves done and to also hopefully find out whether the cams are okay. Hopefully they're okay. And if not, goodness, I really hope KTM will go ahead and goodwill those, but we shall see. So on that video, Jamie Strong, hi, have you taken delivery of your new 390? Not yet, and I may not. Now, when the 390 came out, when they announced the new 390, I was both excited and disappointed. Excited that they're finally releasing an update to the bike, but disappointed that they decided to go with an R. Oh, Dan and M Bricks. Hey buddy, how you doing? Dan M Bricks is a Lego channel. Check him out. Good guy. So when I saw that they had a new bike, great. When I saw that it was going to be a 36-inch practically seat height R model with tube tires, not great. However, I was still excited. My 390 Adventure is getting close to 30,000 miles, so I have a deposit on one and a reservation on another. But honestly, now that they've announced the 390 Adventure X for the United States, I don't really think I need to get my hands on the R. I don't think that I'm going to ride it hard enough to need the R, so maybe we just won't. On the same video, good luck, Frank. Oh, I appreciate that. It's from RY Woodview. And man, I could really use some good luck on this. Thanks, man. And I forgot to do it, so we're going to do our thank you for stopping by and commenting. Because I really do appreciate every single comment. They are better than the view count. If I get 100 views, but I get 20 comments, much happier with the comments. Same video, Motor Ranting with Lemon. When did the hard starting present itself? Was it the end of last season, over the winter, or when you started it in the spring? Early spring is Moto Crunch time. It began late last year. Worse in the spring. And we still can't type. and we especially can't type when we're rushing. Now, I did find the bike was taking 1 to 3 times to start occasionally, first time in the morning. It was always great, or sorry, it never gave any problem after the first start of the day. But I noticed when I took the bike out of storage, probably a month and a half ago, it is 3 times to get it started every single time. I believe that's the valves. I can't imagine what else it would be that is consistent with tightening of the valves. So it was almost time to go in. And now that I've brought the 390 Adventure to New York, it is a good time to just get that there. Dan is asking, how often do you replace a bike based on mileage? You know, buddy, that entirely depends on who makes the bike. Now, if this were a Honda or any other Japanese brand, 30,000 miles is nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've owned a Japanese bike by Yamaha that had 68,000 miles and it ran like brand new. This bike, though, is a very small motor. It gets beaten hard, lots of long miles. So I'm thinking it's going to last. I think it'll last to 60,000 miles, but I think I need to start babying it a little. Hey, Obi-Wan's in the chat. Dane, how are you, buddy? Hey, back to work for you. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. Oh, Obi-Wan, if you're still here, let me know if you're still here. I will show you a video you may want to see right now if you're still in chat. If not, I'm not going to play it. I had the opportunity to ride Doc 650's DR 650, and someone recorded me riding it and sent me those videos. Actually, Matt at TS Adventures sent me a bunch of videos. All right, hang on, Obi-Wan. Here it comes. There I am, throwing some sand around on an absolutely perfect DR 650. Obi-Wan, you will not believe that bike runs like it's never been started before. It's like brand new off the showroom floor, only with perfect suspension. I was really glad. I had no idea anyone was recording me. I was glad that Matt caught this footage.
Like nothing.
Now, it may not look that bad, but this is deep, and I mean deep sand. Dane, have a good day at work, and know that my goal for January of 26 is to start restoring an older, slightly loved DR 650. I cannot wait to buy one and try to make it half as nice as Williams. Because that bike was a joy to ride, an absolute joy. This is after I had ridden in that sand with 2 360s, and it was just so much better being on Doc's bike. Hey, Verbal Widget. How you doing, Dave? Oh, hey, John, Road Reality. How are you today? We're just looking at the end of footage of me on a friend's DR 650. He saw me riding not 1 but 2 390 Adventures through the sand, and he took pity on me and let me ride that. Let's see. All right, as long as we're looking at footage. So that was footage from Matt at TS Moto, who is a great guy. But he's not as helpful as you would expect.
Almost.
Look how deep that mud is that my bike is stuck in. And instead of helping, Matt's filming. Perfect YouTuber.
Rooster down like crazy.
So Road Reality John, aren't you too busy to be doing anything with the family? You've got to be catching up on that beta of DaVinci. You need to give us more videos telling us how to do this.
Look at this. This is insane. We started here, over there, like.
This is painful to watch. We were riding through the woods. I mean, we'd been riding through the woods for hours. And this was the first mud hole we found.
Hey!
Oh, he's so happy for me getting out, but he didn't push, darn it. This is the first mud we found. This is at the Palmetto ADV rally. They told us there was a little bit of mud. And then we found fields and fields of it. Something else. Yeah, Obi-Wan, they're definitely slicks. And I've found that no matter what tire I put on, even if it's a nice chunky knob, man, this East Coast mud is so sticky. It's almost like clay at times, and there's just no getting it off. Your beautiful knobby tire turns into a slick. Yeah, Dan, it's very frustrating to push it through, but the alternative is to leave it there, so you got to do it. I'm fortunately in relatively good shape for my age, so I can still push a lightweight bike out. Hey, Verbal Widget, Dave, I loved your video today. I can see why you are enjoying your Africa twins. You definitely pick up nice ones. Not big monsters like Dave's. Oh, sorry, other Dave Swabbies. Hey, I don't know whether I could use that for a video, but I think I might get demonetized. A nice chunky knob. Hello, Andrew. Randomly Trees. That is my absolute second favorite DR650 owner after Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is my first DR650 favorite. Then Andrew, followed by Rob. And we're going to make Doc last because Doc didn't let me ride his bike the last time we rode together. So Doc, William, you're last. Sorry, buddy. But you're all top tier. Take care, Obi-Wan. All right. Oh, perfect timing, Andrew. I'm just going over some of my comments to try to make sure I, in a timely manner, answer them. And we have one here from this Randomly Trees guy. This is when we were on the Iron Mountain Road. Had a great time on this road on the DR650, but the pine needles were slick. Can't wait to ride on this road again. So last year, Andrew, Randomly Trees in the chat, went ahead and brought his DR650, which worked mostly, but Verbal Widget in the chat had to fix a couple little things in the carburetor. But this year, Andrew, what bike are you bringing? To Timfest, South Dakota. Rebel Rob rides. Back on moto renting with Lemon. Brother, another reason to move south. Just don't bring too many folks with you. Never heard of such. Atlanta and Macon dealerships do appointments. That's in reference to the fact that I wanted to get the bike looked at closer to the time it needed to have the valves done. But when I called and tried to make an appointment in Tennessee or in New York, they both told me the same thing, which was, well, we don't really make appointments. You drop the bike off and we'll eventually take care of it for you. And when I said, well, how long is take care of it for me gonna take? And they said, probably 3 to 4 weeks. So it's been there a week now. So theoretically, I'll have it in less than a month, but there were no guarantees. I may not have that bike for a month. So I asked Andrew what bike he's going to bring, and he's going to be bringing his nice Triumph Bonneville, which is beautiful. If you go to YouTube and go to Randomly Trees, his last 3 or 4 videos are all of his new Bonneville, and it's just a classically beautiful motorcycle with a very nice sound. Andrew, I saw the Triumph Bonnevilles when I was at AIM Expo. Very beautiful bike. I can't wait to see yours in person. Yes, I agree with Verbal Widget. We need more Randomly Trees videos. We're waiting patiently. Oh, speak of the devil. Verbal Widget. Cloudy days are a treat in Arizona. It's always clear blue skies, sunny, and hellishly hot. Looked like a perfect morning ride to the dealer. Really, 4 weeks goes by pretty quick, and soon you'll know everything is fantastic and start riding the bike like you want to. All right, you, Dave, are entirely too positive. Oh my goodness. That's like something that Patrick would have typed. I can definitely see why you want cloudy skies, but after the winter we have in New York, where it's gray, raining, or snowing, man, I really am ready for sunshine. I'll ride in the shade, I'll ride in the clouds, but I am ready for sunshine. 4 weeks, I don't think is going to go by quickly for me. It's only been a week, and I'm like holding onto my phone 3 times a day going, should I ask them? Should I ask them? But I know if I become the guy that harasses them, are you looking at my bike? Are you looking at my bike? Have you seen my bike? I'm going to get moved to the back, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut until week 3. And then I'm going to call, because 3 to 4 weeks, I'll call it week 3 and go, please, my bike, please. Because I really do want to ride the bike. I have a million things I want to do on the 390 Adventure, and that means the 790's got to get written so that I can tear it down. Andrew says it's as much fun to look at as it is to ride. I bet it is. Andrew, how are you for wind in the face? Are you having the same problem you had with the DR650 that you can't get a good shield, or are you okay? Honestly, Dave, I do complain a little, but I am an incredibly fortunate human being, and I'm very grateful for it. If I had one motorcycle and I had my 790 problems, that would be different, but I have another motorcycle. If I truly needed to, I could go buy another motorcycle. So as far as riders go, I'm in a great place. I have nothing to complain about. The bike's in the shop, but it's not my only bike. I know right now from looking at the upstate New York motorcycle, there are guys who have not gotten their bike out of the shop. So it's 75 degrees today. It was sunny and beautiful for anyone who could take the afternoon off. Those guys can't ride. People have it way worse than I do. Andrew's been lurking in YouTube. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being an introvert, Andrew. You are... Make videos if you want to. Watch other people if you want to. We appreciate it when you show up, and we understand you got a lot going on when you can't. Dave, when do I get the new 390? I don't think I'm going to. I keep going out on my 390, and I keep riding it, and I keep having a wonderful, exciting time. And I'm trying to convince myself to buy the new one, because when I look at it, I want it. But then I realize it won't do anything for me that mine doesn't do. So I sat down and I looked at the cost of the bike, the cost of the required Farkles to make it safe to ride it off-road, and the Farkles that would make it entertaining. And I'm looking at about $11,000. And at the end of that $11,000, I'm doing the exact same thing I do with a fully paid for and Farkled bike. And I can't justify it. That's not to say that I won't have a moment of passion when they call me and say it's ready, and I won't go there and just put it on the credit card and pay for it. But as of right now, when I'm thinking clear-headed, I don't need another 390 Adventure. I certainly don't need a taller 390 Adventure. I'm already barely on my tiptoes with the one I have now, and this one's going to be almost an inch taller. No, Dan, I do not love bikes as much as you love Legos. Your lifelong Lego. I mean, technically, I rode motorcycles before you were born, but your love of Legos is stronger than my love of motorcycles. All right. Andrew just received a fly screen, but hasn't had a chance to put it on. Oh no, he expects it to be a similar experience to his DR650, which was he was never truly happy with the wind protection. And that's a naked bike problem. But at least you'll look really good as the air pushes your neck back. All right, who else do we have in here? Oh my God, I forgot to reply to Dave. Dave, you are too cheerful. Since you're here, I don't have to go too far with commenting. Not a lot of detail needed for you, Dave. Cheerful. Oh, whoa, this is old. Moto camping in a national forest. So Scott's Moto Adventure says, so the underlying thing about this video is you're allowed to film in national parks again. Well, Scott, no. This was during like a 4-month period when you were allowed to do it. And then it was blocked again. And to my knowledge, it's still blocked. That said, if you want to film in a national park, you can just request that specific park. I've done it twice now. You just have to send them an email and ask for permission. They'll give you permission. Well, in my experience, they gave me permission for both of the parks to film in them. And I just printed out the email and carried it with me. That way, if somebody came up and said, hey, buddy, you can't do that, I was going to be like, I know you're supposed to technically fill out a form, but I was fine with having a letter. And nobody bothered me when I was filming either. So far, you may not without permission. Wow. 2 misspelled words in a row. For people that don't know, despite our being taxpayers, we're not allowed to film in a national park for profit. And by for profit, it means anyone profiting, not the person filming. So that means even if your channel is not monetized, you may not film and put it on YouTube because YouTube will put ads on it and monetize it. And as I've been reading, the person who does the filming is the person who will get fined. So if you are going to find yourself in a national park, email the park and ask for permission to film, or you can go to the government. There's a website for it. If you just Google how to film in a national park, and you can pay a fee. And you can also, while filling out that form, instead of paying the fee, you can request a media exemption. And for that, you can say, I'm media. And theoretically, people have been reporting that they get permission to film without having to pay the $150 fee, which is insane. I mean, my national park videos make like $10 each. So if I charge, or if the government charged me $150, that would be pretty rough. Ah, verbal widget. Smart man as always, Frank. Well, that's so kind of you to say. I was tempted with the Sia Moto 450, but glad I walked out empty-handed. Honestly, Dave, as the first YouTuber in the United States to ever ride a 450, it's a nice bike, but you already have a T7. It doesn't do anything for you at all. It's a slightly smaller, half the power T7. You know, I mean, if you are looking for a first bike, wow, it's fantastic. But for someone like you who has multiple motorcycles and already has one of the top 3 adventure bikes, I can't imagine what a 450 would do for you other than drain your bank account and force you to sell more of your ever growing list of fly-and-buys. Oh, we're still going on. Oh, next 3 comments are all on lemon videos. From D. Melson 7502. The 790 KTM base adventure model was number 1 on my list to purchase, but I went with number 2. I had a lovely ride on my Transalp yesterday. Wow. Talk about a man who made a good choice. I wish I had one. My 790 is a PTA, pain in the ass. I've ridden 2 Transalps. They're not for me, but wow, they're a nice, smooth bike. Very, very smooth. It reminds me of an Africa Twin scaled down 20%. They needed it scaled down like 75 to 75 or 65%, but it still feels almost as big as an Africa Twin. This is on my old lemon video. Holy shoot. I hope my 24-790 Adventure holds up. Got the pre-filter to help prevent dust from getting into the engine. That's a known problem with the 790s. Everybody puts pre-filters on or extra filters. I regularly check my airbox and knock on wood substitute. I've never had any water, dirt, or debris in there. Da-da-da-da-da. Put in a new lithium battery to get rid of the heavy China no-name lead acid. Got some big trip planned. Jason, I hope your big trips work out. And as I say to anyone who's going to take a long trip on a 790 adventure, keep your credit card handy and maybe a list of the U-Hauls along the way so that when your 790 breaks down, you can rent a U-Haul and then get it up in the back of that truck. I hope all works well. All right, so in the chat, question for you, Dave. Do you actually own 2 Africa Twins right now? Rebel X Sports. Oh, Rebel X Sports makes a light rally for the 790. Oh, a rally light. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm missing on my 790 is I don't have any extra illumination. And I do know that the very few times I have to ride at night, I would like to have a little more side illumination. Thanks, man. I do want to add lights when I get it back. Kostichin? Okay, good. You know, I got a lot of comments on this video. Got a lot of views on that video too. That's the way it always turns out. You can put all your effort into making a video and nobody watches it. And you can do one where you have no intention of making a video and you just click and turn on your camera and all of a sudden it gets 1,000 views. No rhyme or reason. I had one of these 2019 790. Sold it for about $7,000. Oh my God, I tried to sell mine for $6,000. I would have kissed the ground the buyer walked on if somebody would have paid me $7,000 for it. Always dealer serviced. Gentleman that bought it had the engine fail at 16,000 miles. Ugh, I would feel really badly about that. And KTM did not help the guy out. Way to go, KTM. Yeah, that's bad. Oh my God. Yeah, that's terrible. KTM is not great at customer service. All right, so Dave says, yes, Krusty the red one goes up for sale this week. I got to tell you, I loved the way Krusty looked. That was a very, very pretty Honda Africa Twin. I think I'd have trouble getting rid of that one simply because of the colors really popped on it. So I don't know if any of you guys are following, but KTM is on the brink of bankruptcy. They were going bankrupt, went into conservatorship, got an infusion of cash, but it wasn't enough cash. So then Bajaj gave them more cash, but then that cash ran out. And the latest thing is this week, suppliers are saying they're not going to provide parts unless KTM pays up front. But KTM ran out of cash. So it's just an absolute mess over there. And I can't believe anyone is buying a new KTM. Like the 390 Adventure, you're going to be fine. It's designed, built, supported by Bajaj. You're not going to have any issues. Bajaj is a very liquid company. But if you were to pick up a 790 anything or an 890 anything or a 690, I mean, you're buying it from a company that was literally run into the ground and is now on life support. That cannot be good. That cannot be a sound financial investment. That's you, Tim. You bought from the company that's run into the ground. Fortunately, Tim has enough money that he's not worried about it. Me, I'd be worried about it. Wow, we have a lot of comments on this one. JD Winton 5411. I have never heard of a dealership not taking an appointment. Most of them I have been at are exact opposite. They will not take a walk-in unless it's an emergency, and even then it can be touch and go. JD, I tried one in New York and one in Tennessee, hoping that between one of them, because I could always just bring it to my place in Tennessee. I was going down there to get my 390 anyway, and they both had the exact same line. We won't take an appointment. You can't bring it in 2 weeks. You can't bring it in 3 weeks and have it worked on that week. They were both, sorry, drop it off. We will get to it as soon as we can. They're both good dealers. I have had work done at both of them before. And I'll tell you, both of them at that time were drop it off. We'll have it for you in a week. So it is spring. A lot of people are finding out that their bikes don't work as well as they'd hoped, finding out that their bike doesn't start at all. So I do understand the shops have a lot of people in it. I wasn't expecting them to say, bring it in tomorrow. We'll have it for you next week. I was just hoping they would say, bring it in for us in 3 weeks, and then you can pick it up in a week. But I do not have the skills to check the valves myself. I certainly can't I can look at the cams and think they're okay. But if I want to sell the bike, I'm going to have something from a dealer saying the cams are okay. I put the bike up for sale. I marked it down to $6,000, which to me sounds insane for a 2020 790 Adventure R, not the regular. It's the R model with the package, everything, with the extra suspension. And everybody, I counted 27 people contacted me, and not one of them wanted to look at the bike unless I had something from the dealer within a recent period of time that said the cams are fine. So all I can do is put it in the shop, cross my fingers, and hope for the best. So JD, you had better luck than me, as I tried too. 2 shops in 2 states, no less. I should learn to type. Okay, fermented llama. Oh, this is a video that I did years ago. We have rain here in the spring like every single day. So I went out and bought myself a Nelson Rig rain jacket. And after a month, I decided, hey, I should do a video on this. And to this day, this video every spring pops off. And this year I created some shorts based on it, and they're getting like 1,000 views per video, which may not seem like a lot, but for me, my shorts get 100 views. So 1,000 for each one of them is pretty crazy. All right, so Fermented Llama needs one of these Nelson Rig rain jackets in the most bright and pigmented red ever. Good news. They have them in bright red. I actually replaced my yellow one because I had left it stuffed in the back of the van enough that I have like some oil spots on it from leaving it near tools. So I picked up a bright orange one since I ride KTM. All right, Dave says, true, the red and black pop, but the bike lived a few miles from Long Beach. Oh, so there's a lot of corrosion. Yeah, that's a good reason to get rid of a bike, having rust on it. That's the first time I've ever heard of a Honda with rust. I mean, I literally rode my 250L for 5 or 6 years in the winter with our salt up here, and I had rust on one spot where I had scraped the frame on a rock. I don't know what paint they use in Taiwan for the Honda, but that bike was darn near rust proof. Oh no. Tracy, friend of the channel, longtime supporter, stop calling it lemon. You're offending it. Well, Tracy, the lemon is offending me. Tracy's awesome and helpful. Comment from my least favorite bot, Moto Ramblings. I wonder if anybody called Moto Ramblings this week and asked him if he wanted to do a live and was told yes. That may have happened. All right, Moto Ramblings, stay positive. I don't even think that Moto Ramblings would be too positive in that situation. Oh, come now. He is the most positive rider I know. Though, as I said earlier, Dave, Verbal Widget and Moto Ramblings, I mean, God, both of you are positive. It's pretty amazing. And Patrick, if you watch this later, no one would ever say Verbal Widget isn't social. All right. All right, we got to be getting to the end here. Okay. Dirt Bound and Down. He bought his 390 from him. That's where I dropped my bike off. It's Edelman's. People love them. They're primarily dirt bikes, but I've never met a guy who did not like the service they got at Edelman's. I had Edelman's go over my 390 Adventure and do the valves on it for me, and they were great, and they were much, much cheaper than the other place I contacted. I've had my 390 in there too. Though I will say I had one problem with Edelman's service. When I bought my 790 Adventure, it only had one key, and I do like to have two keys. So I went into Edelman's and I gave them the key card, and they ordered me a key, and it took 3 months to come in, which other people, yes, have told me that you should be able to take your key in and get a key out. I couldn't at Edelman's. They had a key sent from KTM, and that key never worked. You would put it in and it would go key not found. So they didn't make the key. It was made by KTM, but Edelman's also didn't offer to give me my money back when I told them about it either. So make of that what you will. ADV Zach, my favorite truck driver. Oh, shoot, it's mildly inconvenient. Yes, buddy, it is. That was because in the video I mentioned that it was mildly inconvenient that I could not get my bike back. All right, we'll make this our last two here. I've made you guys listen to this nonsense long enough. But I do I really do want to keep up on my comments better. And this is a way to keep me honest. If I get on once a week and chat away with anyone who's generous enough to join me and make sure I get through some comments, I'm much more likely to catch up on them. Aw, thank you, Dave. That is very nice of you to say. I wouldn't call it a format so much as a keeping myself from being lazy, but I do appreciate that very much. All right, so we're going to end on the bot. But before that, we're going to have Dave here. Verbal widget. Reliability has to be the number one trait for a motorcycle above all else. Dave, I can't agree more. I don't ride locally as much as I ride distance. And I tell you, reliability is super important when you are 250 or 500 miles from home. I agree with you. Above all else, or it's not in my garage. Are any bikes in your garage? You're going through them so quick. Well, I know your KLR's still there. From that foundation, personal tweaking of range, suspension, and comfort are all tailored for the mission rider. Reliability is the soul of the bike. Hoping the dealer has great news for you in a timely manner. The grace and goodness of Patrick is rubbing off on you. Thank you for the kind words, Dave. I will say, for all the ribbing I give Patrick, I put this on his latest video where he showed a screenshot of him going down. That man is cheerful. I mean, I now have probably 20 hours of riding with Patrick, and I gotta say, it's always a joy. The man is in a good mood at all times, or he's the damn best actor not on television. I've met a lot of YouTubers, and some of them are exactly how they are on screen. Some of them are very different from how they're on screen. Patrick is what he is on screen, just brought up. That cheerful smile that he has just goes crazy. I don't think you could spend an hour with Patrick and not be smiling. I mean, my face hurts just talking about and thinking about the last time we rode together. You will absolutely have a good time. Ah, Patrick is a saint. He honestly is. If only he was social. Then I would literally be on his channel doing a live, and I wouldn't have to be doing my best to entertain you, because Patrick could entertain you and I could just be there doing almost nothing. All right, the last one is that bot moto ramblings. I agree. If I have reliability issues, I am done. I like that Frank is staying calm. Not sure I would be. Absolutely, Patrick would be. There's no way that Patrick would not be calm. Ha! You are always calm. And I typed clam. Patrick, I mean, you are from New England, so you always clam. I guess that's what they call a Freudian slip. Oh, goodness. You know, he's a little bit fat, but 100% reliable and enjoyable. That does make me wonder, what does Patrick know about reliability issues? He used to own a DR650. He now owns a V-Strom 650 and a Honda Goldwing. The man has surrounded himself with motorcycles' most reliable bikes. I mean, if you go out and you say, am I getting a Honda or a Suzuki? You're going to get reliable. There's no way to say, oh, reliable bikes are a problem. Patrick, you only know reliable bikes. Get out there and buy yourself a Moto Guzzi or something. Then you can learn what unreliable is. All right, guys, I cannot thank you enough for stopping by, and everyone who has commented. I really, truly appreciate it. Dan, Dave, Andrew, everybody. John stopped in. Road Reality is my favorite channel. Guys with YouTube channels, make sure you go look at Creator Reality. That's Road Reality's editing channel. And some of the stuff is way above my head and I'll never use any of it. But other things are just nuggets of useful information that are great. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I definitely appreciate your time. And I will do this again because it's helpful. I'm glad you're enjoying